It's Monday, the 14th of December 2015, and I'm back at Water Beach to do a short section of the Harcamlow Way. I'm now going to walk along the road and part of the Fen Rivers Way footpath to join Harcamlow Way near Horningsea. I've now walked to join Harcamlow Way, where it joins the road near Horningsea. I now need to walk along that road further through Horningsea village, which is part of Harcamlow Way. And there's the village sign for Horningsea. Now passing the Crown and Punch Bowl pub in Horningsea. Now passing another pub, the Plough and Fleece. Still in Horningsea. Interesting small cemetery on the right of the road. At last we turned right off the road along this footpath, which is part of the Fen Rivers Way. And that's the way forward along Harcamlow Way. There's the view further along the path. As you can see, it's quite overcast today, but the forecast does say dry. Now crossing this footbridge. The path narrows and crosses another footbridge. This is an impressive lock at the River Cam. This is a few yards off route. Now continuing along Harcamlow Way with views of the A14 ahead, and what a racket it is. Now walking beside the River Cam. At the A14 bridge, there's this bike, not in the greatest of condition. And there's the path going under the bridge. And here's the view along the river, the other side of the road bridge. Not very inspiring, is it? And there's a view looking back to the A14 road bridge. Again, looking back the way I've just come. Still on a path near the River Cam. Approaching this kissing gate now. Shortly after the last clip, Harcamlow Way turns left up this track. At this junction, Harcamlow Way bears right. That's the way forward. Harcamlow Way follows this hedge on the right. Another cemetery. This one's on the left of the walk. Footpath sign pointing the way I've just come. This is just past the cemetery in the last clip. Now in Fen Ditton, there's a view of the church. There's a view of the War Memorial in Fen Ditton. And there's a better view of the Church of St Mary, Fen Ditton. And the walk passes the King's Head pub. Fen Ditton. Now taking this path to Cambridge. That's the way ahead. Now on this meadow near the River Cam, and it's extremely wet. Heading along beside the River Cam. I suspect this would look a lot better if the sun was shining. Harcamlow Way has now joined this made-up path, and it's still beside the River Cam, and it goes beneath the railway line north of Cambridge Station. Let's just watch this train go over the bridge. On the other side of the rail bridge we come to Stourbridge Common beside the River Cam. Still heading across Stourbridge Common beside the Cam along Harcamlow Way. Swans on the Cam. Now walking along a road beside the River Cam. Nice view of curvature of the River Cam. The walk goes under this road bridge. View of the Cam after the road bridge. At this area, the walk takes the middle path. Harcamlow Way goes along North Terrace, which is this fenced path. After North Terrace, the path goes up this track to a roundabout and road junction. Now in Cambridge Centre, Harcamlow Way heads along Short Street. The walk passes the Wesley Methodist Church in Short Street. Immediately after the Methodist Church, Harcamlow Way turns right and takes this path across another green area. After the green, Harcamlow Way goes down this walkway to the right of the bus station. Unbelievably, Harcamlow Way goes through a shopping centre before going along Wheeler Street down here. There's a view of King's College. Harcamlow Way goes along Trumpington Street, it turns left down there. There's Queen's College, and Harcamlow Way now turns right along Silver Street. Silver Street proves to be quite an interesting road. Silver Street crosses the River Cam. Harcamlow Way now goes across this green area to the main road. Now in this wide green area with views of Cambridge colleges to the right, through those trees. Great views of Cambridge colleges. I think that's King's College. Harcamlow Way turns left across the main road and goes along here, this lane called Burrell's Walk. On the left, I think that's Cambridge University Library. Unfortunately, I'm pointing into the sun here. At this fork, Harcamlow Way takes the right track. Harcamlow Way now heads up Adams Road. At the end of Adams Road, Harcamlow Way takes a footpath ahead to Coton, and it's part of the Wimpole Way, which goes to Wimpole Hall. So Harcamlow Way is following Wimpole Way. And there's the tarmac path ahead. Quite a decent view of the asphalt path leading ahead. Further along there's a Wimpole Way sign, and there's the track ahead. Now heading to the crossing of the M11 along the asphalt path. Now crossing the M11. The path continues through a belt of trees on the other side of the M11. Now coming into Coton. There are Wimpole Way signs in Coton or Cotton. And there's the Plough Inn. And there's a view of the church at Coton. A further view of St Peter's Church, Coton. At the end of the road in which the church is located, Harcamlow Way goes along this footpath. Now heading towards Hardwick. There's a good view to the left, and that's the path ahead. For the first time today, really, wide-ranging views. There's the bridle way ahead. Still on Harcamlow Way. Approaching a road, the path becomes enclosed. We now come to this road where the walk turns left. Now heading away from the road along this bridleway. From the bridleway in the last clip, further up, there are extremely wide-ranging views over to my right. This is the last footpath of today's walk. At this point, Harcamlow Way and Wimpole Way turn left along this muddy track. And at this point further on, Harcamlow Way turns right. Along that hedge track there, there's a hedge track going straight on which is ignored. We turn right. The hedge track continues on towards the road at Hardwick. Further on, the path opens up on the left. And there's the wide track of Harcamlow Way ahead. The path comes to the road on the outskirts of Hardwick, where Harcamlow Way turns left. Harcamlow Way turns right along this path, but I'm now ending today's walk. I'm going to go to the bus stop to get the number 4 bus back into Cambridge. Walking to the bus stop, which is at least another mile from where Harcamlow Way crosses this road, here's the view of St Mary's Church, Hardwick. And there's a very pretty village sign for Hardwick. Now at the bus stop and the end of today's walk along Harcamlow Way.